Okay, we were almost done and my Illustrator crashed. So I'm set back up. Now where we were was about to mask in our graphics. One thing we have to remember is that we had that problem, that little glitch with these shape files. So I'm going to see if these are still doing it. I use my direct select, and yes it is. So I'm going to try here. With my direct select, I'm going to select the blue and I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to go back to my main cursor. I'm going to select on the very edge, because I know that edge should still be there, and there it is. Now what I want to make sure of is it still a full shape. Yes, still a proper perimeter. So again, keep in mind this is mostly when you're dealing with found artwork. Templates, sometimes they do this. If you are creating your own artwork or you're doing a straightforward path, typically you won't run into this issue. So a little bit of figuring out to get it to work. So I do have my shape. It just doesn't have any color applied to the fill-in stroke, but it's there. It's on top. I know it's on top of my graphics, so I've got it selected. I'll shift select my graphics and then object, clipping mask, and make. Okay, and there we go. We're tucked into the actual perimeter of the truck. Now, one thing we've got going on here that we need to remedy is the fact that it's going over the glass. Not too big of a problem, but we obviously don't want this going over the glass. What we can do, we do have a couple of options. You can modify your main shape. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to undo before I did that mask. And here's I'm right back to where I had the blue shape. So I'm going to get rid of that again. I'm just going to select that perimeter. So you see I went back to my main cursor. And keep an eye, sometimes I switch these cursors, these selection tools up pretty quickly, and I forget to mention it. So if you're wondering, if you're not sure which one to be on, just see which one I'm on. So I'm going to select that, and what I'm going to do is actually color it blue again so I can see the whole thing. So I'm going to go to my eyedropper, copy that fill, and what I was referring to there was these windows. All right, so I want to have that cut out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this. Now remember Command F, what that does, it places your art right on top. Actually, this item seems, since I crashed, now my blue, gotta be careful with what I'm selecting here. Let me go back just to be sure of what I've got here. Okay, I'm gonna lock those layers. Great thing to do if you're selecting things you don't want to, lock the layers you don't want to be working with. Well, let's see if I've got my perimeter. There we go. Okay, so I'll color that blue, or there we go. And I want that window to be cut out. I'm just going to move this off of here for a moment. This is a tricky file. There's couple of funny things happening in it, but that's okay. Now this window, I'm going to have to unlock that portion of my truck. That's the right side. Let's see if we can grab that window. Now that's probably locked. There's locked layers. Remember, there's locked objects. So I'm going to do Command Option 2. There we go. Unlock that whole thing. So I've got that window. So here's a good use of my Command F. I'm going to go back to Command Y so I can see this. I'm going to copy and Command F. So I just pasted that window on top of itself, but I want that to be at the very front because I'm going to use my Pathfinder to cut into my shape. Okay, so I'm going to do object and arrange, and I always use the key command, so here I am looking for my arrange, and there we go. I almost went just to do the key command because I couldn't find it. So I'll bring this back down, my shape back down, and my window should be on top. There we go. So remember the pathfinder. So I'm going to color this different so you can see it. We're dealing with a little bit of a messy file. So difficult to see. It's still on that right side layer. So I'm going to drag this up to my artwork layer. There we go. That's such a fantastic tool there, because when you can't see something, you can still get it where you want it using that. So I'm going to lock that layer now. So long story short on that one, what I'm trying to do is I'm going to color this black here because I accidentally changed the color. There we go. Okay, everything's back to normal. Like I said, long story short, I wanted to have that window cut out. When I went and did my mask, the window portion had graphics over it. I don't really want that. I would like that part of my graphic to be there, but I don't want it going over top of the window. I want it to show as though it would not be on top. And I even have a little bit here, my graphic didn't necessarily mask into the wheel arches, so I could do it there too. So I'm just going to do the window in this case, and I'll show you a little trick how you can get rid of something small like that. Okay, so I'm going to unmask that, and I'm going to select, remember the pathfinder, 2 or more objects interacting. So I'm going to select this, hold shift, select my odd annoying little shape there that's causing us some grief, but that's okay. I'm going to go to window and pathfinder, and now I'm going to use the minus front. So remember, minus front takes whatever is in front away from the item behind it, and you always want to make sure you have both items selected. So select this one, hold shift, select that one. These two are going to be interacting, so they need to both be selected. And then my pathfinder, and there we go. We've cut a hole in that shape. Now when I go to mask with that, I'll hold shift. And actually you can see here, you can see where the wheel arch is missing from this shape. Now, if I do Command Y, what I can do is a little bit of quick pathfinder work. I'll make a circle. I'm just going to draw it to line up with the wheel arch. Now remember, when you're drawing a circle, you can hold the space bar down at the same time and move it into place. So I'm holding space, let off space when I want to size it, hold space to move it, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to move that into place. I'm holding space bar down, let go of space. So that looks pretty good. Let's see. So now, again, pathfinder, item 1 selected, shift select the second part, and my pathfinder, and there we go. So now that's made an even more accurate masking shape. Now I will hold shift, select my graphic, object, clipping mask, and make. So yeah, you can see with a file like this, you do get into some complications, of course, but that's okay. Any complication is an opportunity to learn a little bit, but admittedly, it can be frustrating when you're dealing with a file that you're not fully sure of what's going on. Okay, so now down here, we'll try the same thing, and we pretty much know what's going to happen, but we'll confirm it. There we go. So we got to fix this one too. So we saw this one before, so I'm just going to delete that blue. Make sure first that my shape is fully there. There it is. I'm going to color that blue so I can see it using my eyedropper. Going a little faster now, so you might have to do some pause and rewind. Now the window here, let's see how we do if I select this. Now you're going to find in these template files, they even behave differently. Normally when you have a solid fill on a shape, you can select the shape in the fill area. This one we still have to select on the perimeter line, on the path itself. So I've selected that. I'm going to select my mask holding, or my graphic holding Shift, Object, Clipping Mask, Make. So let's see what we need to fix. So pretty much the same things. We could almost get away with not doing the wheel arch, but why not? It's easy to do. And we're going to do that window too. So I'm just going to do that. You can watch. So I'm going to have to go to that layer, and that's the left side of the truck. I'm going to unlock it. I've already unlocked all of my items, but I'm going to do that again. So Command Option 2, because now I have this layer unlocked. So I unlocked. You can also go to the Object menu and unlock all. So I unlocked the items themselves on a now unlocked layer. And I'm going to get that window surround. I'll have to ungroup this. Command Shift G. So let's get that little window box. Copy, Command C, Command F. Copied it or pasted it on top of itself. I'm going to drag this little box. Now we're looking at this window box, so I'm going to put that on my artwork layer because I need to use it. And let's get that truck locked again. So I'll lock the layer. And now remember, whatever you're using to punch into something, you know, almost like a hole punch or what we call minus front, it has to be in front. I'm going to fill that so we can see it. And right click, arrange, bring to front. And now I'll bring my shape back down. Make sure it's properly lined up. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to do something a little different here too. I'm going to kind of do two steps in one. I'm going to do that wheel arch thing. Remember, Command Y lets you see what you can't. So holding my space bar down, I'll move that into place. Space bar off. I'm holding Shift as well, so I get a proper perfect circle. Command Y. Let's make that black as well so we see them both. So now I've got these two shapes. I want to do minus front once. So I've selected these and Shift select my shape itself. And if I go to minus front, it will do both at the same time. Okay, so now we're improving on the artwork that we received. So that's good. We've modified it a bit. We're making it even more useful for ourselves. So now I'll do Shift and select the graphics, Object, Clipping Mask, Make. There we go. So nothing, you know, you could even get much more specific if you wanted to. You know, you've got something that's going over a light. You choose that light. You do the same thing that we did with the wheel arches in the window. You put a little hole there. Here with the license holder, you put a little, use that shape, you put a hole, and then your graphics won't be going on top of it. Even there. So when you're doing a fully custom mock-up for a vehicle wrap, you really want to catch all those small spots. Don't worry about the bumper rails and so on here. The vinyl would likely be placed on top of those unless it's a piece of rubber, and the installers would just trim as they need to. Okay, let's see how this one is. Will we get one that works properly right off the bat? Nope. All right, no problem. Same process. Direct select the blue. Should still have a shape there, do we? Yeah, but this one looks like it's now not closed. So see, it has no bottom. I'll go to Y here, Command Y. It has no bottom part there. No problem. Command Y. So I'm going to now do Command J, or join, and in path, that's that, and that'll actually add that part in. It cannot be joined, so let's see why it's not letting us do that. I'm going to move this out here, holding Shift down to keep it in line. Let's see. I'm going to use my direct select, click on that anchor, Shift select that anchor. We'll see if it lets us join now. Command J. There we go. Command Y. Find that. Shift while I click and drag to bring it back. All right. Hold Shift and select my artwork with this selected. Shift, select, object, clipping mask, and make. All right, of course, we got to do the windows. And in this case, we really should, right? So, all right, here I go again. I'm going to go to that layer, and that is the front. Unlock that layer. Make sure all items are unlocked. I can't select anything because they're actually locked items. The layer's unlocked, the items are not. So object, unlock all. There we go. So now I've got two windows I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to make this blue again just so I can see it and then get it out of our way. And I'm going to go, now I'm back on this layer. Let's see what they've given us. Okay, there's the windows. Might make it a little easier. So copy, Command F. That's Command C, Command F. Now it's in front of itself, but it's still on the truck, the front layer. So drag that square. I want it on my artwork layer. That's where I need to use it. Let's close up and lock that layer again. And we will bring our, I just noticed that it looks like I moved that with all of my items in it. Let's see if we can get away without making more of a mess for ourselves. Okay, and I'm going to release that mask. Everything turned blue. That's okay. It's an easy fix. Back to black. Okay. Now, this even came over with the little seat there. So it's always good when you're trying to figure out artwork like this, just move it out and deal with it off of your main graphics. And don't forget to save. I'm going to save this again just to be sure. Okay, so we're going to clean this up. And let's see if this is that's a stroke. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to select them all and see if it'll let me do one minus front. There we go. Perfect. So what I did, I just selected everything, the windows and my background, selected them all, clicked minus front. It put the holes in. We're gonna put this back and then shift select my graphic, object, clipping mask, make. There we go. Okay. Whew. So a few complications there, just dealing with the template file, and that is something you will run into often with templates, with found artwork like that. And it's always fixable. It's just in many ways you're doing a little bit of diagnostics or even forensics, we'll say, on the file in order to figure out what it's doing and then fix it. So that was a lot more steps than I thought it would be to get these masks in, but I think it's good that we saw that because you saw what you're going to run into. If I had fixed all of that prior and just did a mask, you would have run into the problems that I ran into in the tutorial, and you wouldn't have known how to fix them or address them. Okay, so definitely ask me if you have any questions. If there's even a small portion of this that you want me to go over again and post another tutorial on it, I will, absolutely. Otherwise, I'm really excited to see the graphics that you guys have created for this.